The one time the system actually had a heart. You know, most people think the system is just a bunch of red tape and cold numbers. But every once in a while, someone finds the human being buried underneath all those files. I was working as a shift manager at a high-end bistro in Chicago, and I had this kid, Leo, working the dish pit. Leo was 20 years old, sharp as a tack, and never missed a shift. Until one Tuesday, he just disappeared. No call, no show, nothing. 3 days later, I find out Leo's younger sister, his only family, had been rushed into emergency surgery after a hit and run. The kid was living in a hospital waiting room, terrified, and probably hadn't eaten a real meal in 72 hours. When he finally came back a week later, he looked like a ghost. I told him right then and there, Leo, don't worry about your hours. I'm marking you down for full shifts. Go be with your sister. Well, the owner, this corporate-minded guy named Mr. Sterling, found out. He called me into his glass-walled office, sitting there with his spreadsheets and his efficiency reports. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "We aren't a charity. If he isn't scrubbing plates, he isn't getting paid. It's a bad look for the culture." I felt my blood start to simmer. I looked at the framed Employee of the Month photos on his wall, then back at him. I leaned over his desk very quietly and said, "Sterling, that kid is currently deciding if he needs to buy a hospital gown or a black suit. If you think a few $100 from your labor budget is more important than his sister's life, then you aren't just a bad boss, you're a broken human being." The room went ice cold. He started to stammer, reaching for his employee handbook. But my general manager, who had been listening at the door, just walked in and shut the book. She looked at Sterling and whispered, "I've been waiting 10 years for someone to tell you that. The pay stays. Now go get some coffee and let us do the actual work." I've never felt a win quite like that one. Some things just matter more than the bottom line.